ADR23. That was by Boone. It has passed. So maybe you want to give a break up down of how that's going to work now that it has reached consensus?
Yes, ADR23 is largely about just burning a bunch of the runes. I think this whole thing started on this Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. It started from a conversation I think me and Kenton were having weeks ago or months ago, whatever it was. And it's just about burning a bunch of the rune that's in the treasury from whatever it is now, which is probably like 75, 76 million, whatever it is. I forget what the number off the top of my head of what it being burned down to. I think it's leaving, is it 8 million or 9 million? I can't remember
9
the
million
number.
something. I can't remember.
Something
Yeah,
like
something
that.
like that.
Yeah,
Something
yeah.
like that. So we got passed, and then I just opened up a GitLab issue and assigned it to Hugin, which is I find that hilarious. And so Hugin's going to be working on that real soon. And then myself and others
So cool.
will review that code and get it merged, and hopefully we can get into 317 to make that burn happen.
And I'd
Cool.
like to just say, this was an ADR, we've been talking about it, right? But this is a bond provider, not a node operator, a bond provider. He wrote this ADR process, and it has reached consensus on the network, guys. So this is just a reminder, you don't need to be a node operator to have an interesting change and affect the network, right? So
Yep.
I just encourage more community activity, more community engagement. So shout out to Boone, good job, and great answer. Kenton, were you going to say something? I hope I didn't cut you off.
I was just going to expand a bit in case someone was listening, isn't quite aware of what the ADR was. The 75 million odd rune in the reserve, and which makes the total supply like 425 million, and the max supply right now is 500 million. And so the point of the ADR was to burn some of the reserve because we're technically not using it, and reduce the max supply, and get the total supply and max supply down to 360 million. So it basically just tightens up the token structure so that the fully diluted value is basically equal to the market cap.
Yep.
And so that when THORChain shows up when analysts people are researching different protocols, that our FDV is much lower and looks more attractive. And I love this. This really tickles my OCD, and cleaning things up and making them organized. And I'm really looking forward to getting these metrics on all these, like the Masaris and token terminals of the world. Getting these things going. So I feel very strongly that the next wave of money coming into crypto, generalist investors, these are the numbers they want to look at, and it's better for us to have it's like kind of like your first impression. Once they see it, then they'll believe it. If they see the wrong number, then it's really hard to explain to them that it's actually different. So, I think this will be good. And if worst comes to worst, we have to mint more rune, one day for some reason in the reserve, then so be it. We'll cross that bridge when it happens.
Yep.
So
yeah, I think once this actually gets merged and live, whatever, we'll probably also make another change to the reserve where we set the maximum supply of reserve to, like, let's call it 9 million or some number, so that when the reserve makes a little bit more than 9 million, like 9,100,000 rune or whatever the number is, the 100 gets pulled into system income as part of the network system income, and then so it'll like basically float. It won't, like, it'll be 9 million and a little bit below, a little low, like a little below, like it'll just kind of float around that number, very from block to block, and we'll just make a little bit of extra system income from that change as well.
we'll have to, won't we? Because if the total supply right now is 360 million, and then we reduce the max supply to 360, well, I guess we have the burn, but let's pretend that burn doesn't exist. Oh no, but it's the same tokens. Sorry, guys. I'm my brain is a bit slow
Well,
catching
the
up.
burn's coming from the system income,
Yeah,
right? But we
but
have income.
sorry.
Go ahead.
If rune is going into the reserve, it's also coming out of the circulating supply. So
Correct.
the total supply isn't changing. It's just okay. That's sorry. Forgive me. Yeah, I'll stop talking.
You're right. No, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
So we're taking rune out of supply and we put it into the reserve. And there's a handful of mechanisms of how we could rune into the reserve. I can't even remember what they all are off the top of my head, to be honest with you. I have to go look it up. But nothing's crazy, nothing significant. But that just, if we put it at 9 million now, we could come back X number of years, 100 years from now, and it'll be back at 75 million again, right? Theoretically, that would happen eventually at some point in time. I don't know how many years it would take, but at some point in time, that would probably be true. But by setting the max supply of the reserve to be at 9 million, that whatever it makes over the next 100 years is just going to be kind of absorbed by the LPs and node operators as income.